Okay, in this video I'm going to show you a work in progress. Technically you can see what I'm going to be using, but not me physically holding it. I am trying to build a new computer, and right now I'm using a latitude D820, and I have to admit it's a good machine. Um, I really don't want to get rid of this machine, but the stuff I'm doing is almost at the point where this machine can't handle it because I've got the processor maxed out. I got 2 gigs of RAM in here, but really it's not worth spending money on. I don't have a 64-bit operating system, and if I could stuff a Core 2 quad in here, I'd keep this laptop. I mean, it's a really good machine. It's been a champ, and it's a tough machine. But I am planning to build a new computer, and I'm going to show you the components right now. Okay, right now, this is my main power supply that I'm going to be using, and it's a little bit low in wattage, but it's worth it. 430 watts, and I'm just going to point out the main things about it. I'm not going to read through the entire 80 plus single 12 volt power supply. This means 80 plus means it has an efficiency mode, so at 80% load you can get almost 90% of efficiency, and these are really good power supplies. um, Basically it's like, if you get a hybrid car, it's saving energy, not putting a big carbon footprint. That's kind of what this thing is doing. Oh, take this away. That's kind of what this power supply is supposed to be doing. It's supposed to um, provide a lot of power, but it's also supposed to save a lot of power. Now, the only downturn about me putting this in my computer case is this fan right here. If I have to mount this in upside down, this fan or this power supply itself would be no good, because I'd have to put the fan up towards the top of the case, and the top of the case that I'm using doesn't have any vents at the top. So I might get that modified, I might not. But I'm getting somebody to modify my case. Alright, that's my power supply. That's the power supply I will be using on this rig, or just desktop. Motherboard is the ASRock 8800 GM AMD Micro ATX. Here are the specs and reason why I got this motherboard, because it was cheap, and I don't fully agree with AMD processors, but this is cheaper. Two, it has it's dual channel, so that's two 240 pin, DDR3 overclockable, as you see right here. Onboard video, HD Radeon. Southbridge is the AM SB710. I didn't look up that chipset yet, but this board is actually loaded. I'm not going to read through all this stuff. I'm just going to quickly scroll through it so you guys can see it, and then I'm going to show you some pictures. This is a nice board. To zoom in there so you guys can get a good look at that board. Look at how many USB ports are on this. Loaded. Has DVI support, which is nice. AM3 socket, 24 pin connector, and that's what that power supply. And when you buy these computers, you got to make sure your power supply matches up to it. Comes with 2 SATA cables, IDE, which I have plenty of them. IO back panel. This is Micro ATX, so it should fit on this case. And the motherboard drivers. So we're just gonna close that out, and that's the motherboard I'm using. This is the RAM I'm using. This is some really good RAM. Crucial, ballistics. I heard about this memory before I could even afford, buying high-end computers. And really, this is not a high-end system. I just need a new system just for what I'm doing. And it's quick and easy. It says you don't have to go into BIOS and change it and everything, although it is overclockable. But it's got a nice thermal design. The RAM looks really good. This is probably going to be the best looking RAM I've ever got. You know, when you get this kind of RAM... phone call. Okay, phone call. Sorry about that. This is the RAM I'm using. Ballistics memory DDR3 1333. Really fast, 1.5 volt. The timings on it match the board. Cache latency, that matches the board too. So nothing really special, but to me it's probably the world, because I'm going to be building my own computer for the first time. I didn't want to have anybody else build it for me, because this is something I want to do. So that was our RAM. We're going to check out our hard drive, and I'm being really cheap on the hard drive. This is the piece of crap hard drive I'm buying. It's cheap, and it's only going to be a starter. I found this hard drive. It's cheaper than the other hard drive I'm looking at. It's 7200 RPM, and I'm still, you know, keeping the same amount of space that I have right now. But it's 7200 RPMs, and that's what made me look at it, and it's 25 bucks. I don't really care. If it fails, it's backed up. You know, I'm ready for a failure, so not a DOA, but maybe somewhere down the line. That's the piece of crap hard drive I'm getting, so you can laugh at that part, but upgrades are going to be applied after maybe a month or so. But that's a temporary drive. And last but not least, I could be missing some parts. The AMD Athlon 2 X2 dual core Regger, or I guess that's what they call it. Bear with me, because I am not used to AMD processors. I am an Intel man. I've been an Intel man since the Intel Pentium 4, and you know, when the money gets tough or tight, you have to go with something, you know, and you know how to say that you get what you pay for. Well, yeah, I'm probably going to get what I pay for, and I'll probably overclock it, and it'll probably kick out the same amount of horsepower that's in this. But I've seen some gameplay on this processor, and with a good video card, it works. So this baby's at 3.0 gigahertz, or just 3 gigahertz. I think that's 1 megabyte of cache, or 2 megabytes of cache. I'm not sure. That's kind of what I have right now. I really wanted something more powerful, but like I said, there's always room for improvement. The socket I'm going with is AM3. Like I said, I'm so used to the Intel processors where they say you know, where they have socket 7. What's the one? LGA 755 or 775 or something like that. Then one after that is like 1156. I was trying to go with Intel, but it was too expensive. So this is going to be my processor for now. Then later on I'll update the processor to maybe a Phenom. And that's all the parts I have. But actually, I can type in what is it? DL-400. If I remember the model number. No. Alright, well, what I'm getting is a card, a wireless card. I already have that with me. I've had it since 2008. It runs on the PCI bus. So it should work. The case that I'm using is I'm going to bring it up right now. Actually, bring it up in my search. And yes, it is this old case right here. Small picture, but you have an idea. It's basically a Dell Dimension 2300, except 50 more. You know, I don't know what Dell was doing when they created these computers, but all of their Dell Dimensions were exactly the same. You know, all of them were exactly the same. Here's the best thing I like about this case. On the side of it, it has the Dell logo with the indent. It's like indented, or like, yeah, it's dented into the side of the case. So that makes it more easier to cut into the case and do my modifications. I have a friend who modifies cases. Here's the another view of it. And he's going to take that circle out, or maybe he's going to cut a big square in it, put it with plexiglass or some kind of or a grill look, where I could put a big 120 on the side of that and have airflow from the rear, from the power supply, because the power supply is going to be blowing a good amount of air with those big fans. And I'm going to have one on the PCI bus. So there's going to be a lot of airflow in this case. And the case, I'm going to probably paint it. If not, I don't care. Right now it's not about beauty, it's about performance. So I'm going to be using this case right here. That's just about it. If you have any questions, have any suggestions, because I could really use some suggestions. And my budget is $225 to $230 to be exact, because like I said, I'm selling this laptop and I found 2 buyers for this laptop, so they're gonna buy it somewhere around that price. So if you have any suggestions, just make a comment, and I'll catch you guys around when I'm uploading other videos, or I start doing that computer build.